Nice to meet you.
Theodore Robert Cowell, later known as Ted Bundy, was born on November 24, 1946, in Burlington of Vermont. In 1950, Bundy and his mother moved to Tacoma in Washington, where she married Johnny Culpepper Bundy, who formally adopted Ted. During his teenage years, Bundy had several run-ins with the law, being arrested on suspicion of burglary and motor vehicle theft. However, the details of these incidents were expunged from his record when he turned 18. After high school, Bundy attended the University of Puget Sound for a year before transferring to the University of Washington to study Chinese. Bundy met Elizabeth Klopfer, with whom he had a tumultuous relationship that lasted even during his incarceration. He became a father figure to Klopfer's daughter. In 1970, Bundy re-enrolled at the University of Washington as a psychology major and excelled academically. He worked at a crisis center alongside Ann Rule, a former police officer and true crime writer. Bundy joined Governor Daniel J. Evans's campaign, recorded speeches for analysis, and was appointed to the Seattle Crime Prevention Advisory Committee. He was later hired as an assistant to the chairman of the Washington State Republican Party. In 1973, Bundy was accepted into law schools. However, he stopped attending in April as young women started disappearing in the Pacific Northwest. Bundy's first victim was Karen Sparks. On January 4, 1974, Bundy went into the basement apartment of an 18-year-old dancer and student named Karen Sparks. He used a metal rod from her bed frame to violently attack her, causing severe internal injuries. He then sexually assaulted her. Karen survived, but she remained unconscious in the hospital for 10 days and suffered permanent physical disabilities. A month later, Bundy broke into another basement room of a 21-year-old student named Linda Ann Healy, who provided weather reports for skiers on the radio. He knocked her out, changed her clothes, and abducted her. During the first half of 1974, several female college students went missing, approximately one per month. Donna Gail Manson, a 19-year-old student, disappeared in March after attending a jazz concert at her college. In April, 18-year-old Susan Elaine Rancourt vanished while returning to her dormitory after a meeting. Two other students reported encounters with a man asking for help with his books near a brown or tan Volkswagen Beetle, like the one seen on the night Rancourt disappeared. In May, 22-year-old Roberta Kathleen Parks left her dormitory for a coffee outing but never arrived. These incidents alarmed investigators in Seattle and King County. Although there was limited physical evidence, a pattern emerged. The victims were all young, attractive, white college students with long hair parted in the middle. On June 1, 22-year-old Brenda Carroll Ball went missing after being seen talking to a man with a sling at a tavern. On June 11, 18-year-old Georgianne Hawkins, a student at the University of Washington, disappeared while walking between her boyfriend's dorm and her sorority house. The following day, police searched the alley where she was last seen but found no evidence. Bundy later admitted to luring Hawkins to his car, rendering her unconscious, and strangling her. Shockingly, he returned to the crime scene the next morning and collected Hawkins's belongings without being noticed. News of the brutal attack on Karen Sparks and the 6 missing women spread, causing fear in the region and leading to a decrease in young women hitchhiking. Law enforcement faced intense pressure to solve the case, but the lack of substantial evidence posed challenges. The victims went missing at night, often near construction areas, and around exam periods. Witnesses reported sightings of a man with a cast or sling driving a brown or tan Volkswagen Beetle at several crime scenes. The series of murders reached its peak on July 14 when 2 women were abducted from a crowded beach at Lake Sammamish State Park. Witnesses described an attractive young man in a white tennis outfit with a sling on his arm and a slight accent. He introduced himself as Ted and asked for help unloading a sailboat from his Volkswagen Beetle. Most women refused, but Janice Ann Ott and Denise Marie Naslund fell for his deception. Bundy claimed that he forced one victim to watch as he killed the other, although he later denied it. In August 1974, Bundy left his girlfriend Klopfer in Seattle and moved to Salt Lake City in Utah. He enrolled at the University of Utah Law School for the second time and struggled with the coursework, feeling inadequate compared to his classmates. In September, he started a new series of murders. An unidentified hitchhiker in Idaho. A 16-year-old Nancy Wilcox. Melissa Ann Smith, the 17-year-old daughter of a police chief, and Laura and Amy, also 17, disappeared in Lehigh and were found dead on Thanksgiving Day. Both girls were beaten, raped, sodomized, and strangled with nylon stockings. Carol DeRanch and Deborah Jean Kent, a 17-year-old student. Klopfer became suspicious of Bundy's activities and reported him to the police. Bundy's name was added to the list of suspects, but there was no concrete evidence linking him to the Utah crimes at that time. Bundy relocated to Colorado in 1975 and continued his murderous activities. A registered nurse Karen Campbell. Julie Cunningham, a ski instructor. Later he confessed to sexually assaulting and strangling her. Denise Lynn Oliverson disappeared near the Utah-Colorado border, and her bike and sandals were found. Bundy lured 12-year-old Lynette Dawn Culver from a junior high school in Idaho, and drowned her. 15-year-old Susan Curtis vanished from Brigham Young University's campus in Provo. This became Bundy's last confessed murder. All of Bundy's known victims were white females, mostly from middle-class backgrounds. They were generally between the ages of 15 and 25, and many were college students. Bundy targeted strangers and did not approach anyone he might have known previously. Bundy's selection of victims was primarily based on their youth and attractiveness. He was an organized serial killer and used his law enforcement knowledge to evade capture. His crimes spanned jurisdictions, employing methods like blunt trauma and strangulation with household items. Bundy altered his appearance, making identification challenging. Even his car, a Volkswagen Beetle, was described differently by witnesses. He targeted sleeping victims initially, later becoming selective and using tricks to lure victims to his vehicle. Bundy took Polaroid photos of many of his victims as a way to remember his actions. Ted Bundy was arrested on several occasions due to different circumstances. The initial arrest that ultimately led to his capture occurred in Utah on August 16, 1975. Bundy was pulled over by a highway patrol officer for a routine traffic stop. During the stop, the officer noticed suspicious items in Bundy's car, such as a ski mask, pantyhose mask, crowbar, handcuffs, and other potentially incriminating items. These items raised the officer's suspicion, and Bundy was subsequently arrested on suspicion of burglary and possession of burglary tools. The arrest in Utah led to Bundy becoming a person of interest in the investigation of several unsolved murders and disappearances. Further investigations, including a search of Bundy's apartment, uncovered additional evidence linking him to the crimes. This evidence included a guide to Colorado ski resorts with markings near a location where one victim disappeared, as well as other incriminating items. However, despite the mounting evidence, the police did not have enough to formally charge Bundy at that time, and he was released on bail. This release turned out to be a significant error, as Bundy continued his criminal activities and escalated his violent acts. It wasn't until later, when Bundy was arrested in a different state, that the full extent of his crimes became evident. In February 1978, Bundy was arrested again in Florida. He was linked to multiple murders and abductions, including the Chi Omega sorority house murders and the abduction and murder of 12-year-old Kimberly Leach. Bundy's crimes were further substantiated through forensic evidence, witness testimonies, and his own confessions. Ultimately, the combined efforts of law enforcement agencies across different states, the gathering of evidence, and the determination of investigators led to Bundy's arrest and subsequent trials, resulting in his convictions and eventual execution. On January 24, 1989, Bundy was executed in the electric chair at the Rayford prison in Florida. His last words were directed to his attorney and a Methodist minister. Outside the prison, a crowd celebrated his execution, and his ashes were later scattered in an undisclosed location in the Cascade Range of Washington state, as specified in his will. I'm super excited to hear what you all think about this topic. So don't be shy, leave a comment down below and let your thoughts flow. Before you go, make sure to hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Thank you for being a part of this awesome community.